What's up, YouTube? It's your girl Shani, and welcome back to the Women's Palace. So today I want to talk about this revelation that I got from God last night about The Walking Dead. Now, I don't know if it's a movie or if it's a TV show, right? But I just have this image in my head about, the zombies walking the earth. You feel me? That's dead. And God had to make me realize that's the world that we live in. Now, just because it doesn't appear with the natural eye does not mean that's not taking place in the spiritual realm. We have a lot of people that are spiritually dead. I always say, just because a person appears to look like they have life because they are breathing doesn't mean that they have life within themselves, right? So I just had this vision of we living in the fallen world and this whole spiritual realm. Like, if we can see in the spiritual realm, if you have eyes to see in the spiritual realm, you already kind of see this, and how, you feel me, all the walking zombies, they kind of like do deadly activities together, right? But when life comes in the room, that's when they attack. And God had to make me realize this is symbolic of the people who hold the light within themselves, right? The people who have the light within themselves, the people who have life within themselves, that's why the dead attacks the life, because they're dead on the inside, so they're seeking life. So now they're going to attack you. A lot of the world do deadly activities because, you feel me, that's what the dead do. It's normal to be dead because we live in a world that most people are dead. And God is really making me realize, don't always go with the trends. Don't always hop on the bandwagon, right? Because the wide road is on the road to destruction. So of course it's going to be a lot of people agreeing on the same thing. It's going to be a lot of people aligning the same way, because that road is on to destruction. Few find the narrow road. So it's going to be a few people that have life. In the world's eyes, it's like, oh, they look foolish because it's only them, or it's only a few people that's walking the narrow life. You feel me? And one thing I'm noticing about the enemy, he always tries to make people who have life within themselves seem like they're the crazy ones, because it's few people that have life. So life looks foolish. You think about it, like life look foolish in the physical eye, because it's like you don't have nobody with you and everybody is going this way, but you're going this way. So death is the trend. We're doing deathly activities, and if you're not doing death, then you're looked at to look like a clown. You feel me? So this goes back to The Walking Dead, and a lot of people are doing deadly activities. A lot of people are spiritually dead. They are emotionally unavailable. They are mentally ill, mentally unavailable. And this stuff is normal, because when you think about it, I don't know, I ain't even really seen The Walking Dead, but just how the picture I have in my mind is just like, you seen, I did see this movie. I don't know if it was The Walking Dead, but it was something to the point of, it was like the zombies and anything that had life, they would attack it, right? So, that's just how I'm looking at life. You feel me? We are living in The Walking Dead. Now, just because it's not, just because it's not how you see it physical, think of this happening in the spiritual realm. So you have to understand the dead is going to attack you. And that is another reason how God is making me realize, blessed are you to be persecuted for my name's sake, because you got to understand they're persecuting you because you have life within you, and that's not normal. It's not normal to have life, because you have to understand it's easy to be dead. It's easy to sit in your slumber. It's easy to just sit there. You have to fight for life. You have to get up, and you have to be able to call on God to get his strength to fight for life. You feel me? Because look what comes with having life. It's easy to walk in the dead. Nobody's attacking, nobody's in the dead. Like, when you're dead, you're not getting attacked. I always say Satan is not going to cast out Satan. If you're dead, it's no reason for him to come for you. You feel what I'm saying? But when you have life within you, when they see, hold on, this is not me. This is not something, you feel me, you ain't got what I got. You got something different. I gotta attack you because you are not normal. You are different because you are not dead on the inside. See, a lot of people are not consciously aware of this, but we are living in The Walking Dead. And this is another reason why God is making me realize, you feel me? Sometimes I feel isolated. Sometimes I feel like, God, why is it that I can't, and it's like, Shanice, a lot of people, every day God sets before us life and day. And I always say that, you feel me? You got to choose life and not only speak it with your words, but you have to choose life with your actions. And a lot of people are complacent in where they're at. A lot of people don't want to, they're okay with being in death because it's easy. It's easy for you to sit in your slumber. It's easy for you to stay toxic. It's easy for you to hold on to that stuff, because what I'm realizing with you choosing death, that's holding on to that unforgiveness. That's holding on to that toxicityness, because that stuff is eating you alive. But when you choose life, you choose to heal. You choose to become whole. And in that sense, that is work. You feel me? That's one thing God is making me realize. When God calls us to work, it's not necessarily labor work. It's work, the inner work. You feel me? Because that's a job in itself. You feel me? That is a job in itself. It's a job to heal yourself. It's a job to feel feelings that you don't want to feel. It's a job to go on a forgiveness journey, right? And this is just really just a talk on how God is revealing to me how life is. Don't get so caught up on why can I have friends, or why can I have this, when you don't realize we're living in a world that is walking dead. Few people have life. Few people have life. Just because people are walking around with breath in their lungs and they appear to have life, they are dead on the inside. And you have to understand, what does the death have in common with the life? What does the dark have in common with the light? Nothing. So you have to be able to start looking at things from a spiritual side. And that's one thing God is teaching me. Look at life from a spiritual lens. Stop looking with your carnal mind. Stop looking at what you see. Start looking at stuff from the spiritual, because I always say life is spiritual, but life is more spiritual than it is physical. Everything starts in the spiritual. So you have to understand, a lot of people's activities, a lot of the world trends, all that stuff is deadly activities. That's what that's what the dead do. And the dead, it's normal to the dead. It's normal to do what dead people do. But it's uncommon to find life. So when they find life, they have a problem with that, because you are the light in the darkness. So you are exposing them. When you sit there and you think about it, if it's pitch black, can't nobody see. Right? But when the light pops on the room, you feel me? And this is one thing I heard somebody say this, who, but she was like, I think of the dark. I think her name was Shannon. She says she think of, like, the darkness and the enemy like roaches, right? Because if you ever known, you feel me, when you turn on the light, the roaches scatter, right? So that's how it is in the dark. So when you are in a light in the room, when you are life, baby, life is light, okay? So when you have life within you, you are the light. So when you come into a facility, you are turning on the light onto people. So now you are exposing people. Hey, baby, this ain't life. But they think this is life because this is what they're used to. When you think about it, when you're used to something, you don't know nothing else. So this Walking Dead world, you think about it, they was in the dark, baby. This world was in the dark before Jesus popped up on the scene. And that's why they hated Jesus so much, because they exposed their darkness. Nobody likes to be exposed nowadays. Like, and you got to be able to think of yourself. You got to be able to understand that you are the light in this Walking Dead world. So when you sit there and you realize, baby, this world that we live in is a walking dead. This world is in a falling state. I always say I don't care about no palm trees. Y'all see the greenery. You see this. We live in a dark world. We are in a fallen state. And a lot of people think of your life like the Walking Dead. That's how God put in my mind. To stop always taking things so personal. This is what God is making me realize. Sometimes we make things more personal than it is. You have to understand the world that we live in. I want you to put into your mind, we living in the Walking Dead. And it's crazy to me. And this is what God always tell me. It's crazy how the world we live in put the truth right in our face. But we can be so blinded that we don't even recognize the truth when it's in our face. That's how skillful the enemy is at blinding people's mind. He can put the truth in your face, and yet people still don't see it. Oh, it's just a movie. No, baby. This stuff has significance. Ain't nothing new under the sun. You feel me? This stuff is coming from somewhere. But see, when you blind, you don't see it. You feel me? And that's where God is making me realize, I don't stop going off of what you can see. And this is why God always tell me, we walk, if you are connected to God, you are walking with Jesus, we walk by faith and not by sight, because this world is an illusion. It is fog screens. Nothing appears to be real. Nothing is real in this world. When you really think about it, it's illusions. It is illusion. It is fog screen. I always say the world is a stage. Lights, camera, action. The enemy is deceiving us. But when you know that we are walking in when you know that the world is the walking dead, literally zombies, literally dead corpse walking around doing deadly activities, and when they see the light, they persecute it, they come against it because they don't understand it. They don't understand what's taking place. They don't understand that it's spiritual. And that's what God always made me realize. When people don't like you, you feel me? I always had this problem growing up. People don't like me for nothing, and I don't even know these people from Adam or Eve. Like, where do I know you? I just don't like her. No, baby, it's a spiritual thing. The spirit that is connected to you don't like me, but you don't know. You feel me? It's not consciously. This stuff is subconscious. This stuff is subconsciously. This stuff is happening behind the scenes. But this is why you have to be able to be sober-minded to realize that we are in a spiritual battle. And just because you can't see the battle doesn't mean it's not taking place. You cannot allow the dead to draw life out of you, because let me tell you something, if you're not up to date of what's taking place in this world, you will allow the dead to pull life out of you and become dead right with them, because that's what they want you to do. They want to stay in the dark. People like to stay in their slumber. It says in the Bible that they like the dark. People like the dark because it's easy to sit in your dark. It's easy. It is so easy. You do not have to fight to stay in dark. It's easy. It's our sinful nature. It's a sinful nature to stay in the dark. It's not going to require nothing from you. So people like it because they don't want to do the work. They want to do lazy. It's easier just to pull you down so they can turn off your light. So when you realize that the world we live in is like the Walking Dead, stuff will start making sense to you. Everything is symbolic, right? People are spiritually dead on the inside, and it may play out in a different scenario in the earthly realm. Like, you feel me? Persecution, people throwing dirt on your name, people trying to make you look like you a clown, but really in reality they the clown, but they're so blinded in their mind they don't understand it. But this is why God is wanted me to bring to you guys, look at life as the Walking Dead, because that's the world that we live in. Don't get caught up on the dead not liking you, them throwing dirt on your name, them doing all type of stuff. You gotta realize what's taking place. And if you have to, go watch the movie or go watch the show and allow God to reveal to you more of this world that we live in. Because I always say these movies are telling. The movie is telling you exactly what's taking place, but are you alert? Are you sober-minded to realize that this is the world that we live in? The movies that they're playing, this is the world that we live in. It's just in a spiritual sense. You can't see it with your natural eye, but it's still taking place. We live in a world where a lot of people are spiritually dead. They're emotionally unavailable. They're mentally unavailable. They're mentally ill. They're mentally ill. You cannot expect somebody dead to understand you. You can't expect to be friends with the dead. You cannot expect to grow with the dead. You have to let the dead be the dead and just understand and put stuff in categories. That's what God is teaching me. Learn to put people in categories and understand. This is why in everything, get an understanding. The Bible says that in everything, because when you understand a thing, you won't take it so personal. You won't allow certain stuff to get to you because you would just understand that's just the world that I live in. It's not nothing to do with me. That person is dead and they can't comprehend me. They can't understand me. You feel me? It ain't really nothing to do with you, your physical. It's deeper than you. It's bigger than you. This stuff is spiritual. So understand that we are living in the world that is the Walking Dead. People are dead, spiritually, baby. And you feel me? You just got to be able to realize what's taking place and move accordingly. And don't allow the dead to make you dead. Continue to live life. Okay? Continue to live life. Continue to walk your narrow path and continue to be a light in this dark world.